how things work with you, how are they not working with you, how to set up goals. And not only that, so I started inviting guest speakers, and those are people from my community and people from outside as well, to share with us their knowledge and experience. So this is a place for you guys to learn and also talk to us and share your experiences, and any questions you have, we'd be happy to answer them if you just write them on the chat. And today we're going to be learning about how your money makes more money. So again, as an introduction, my name is Fatma, and my background is actually in finance and investments. And I'm also a coach. So I combined a lot of things from my experience and the things that I'm still learning as well, to share with my community and to share with others, so that it can help them with their life, for example. And today I have my friend Asha, who is going to be talking to us about her experience when it comes to managing budgets, investments, and we are attempting to simplify a lot of financial terms for you guys, and also to make you understand how you can start growing your money by your money. So we're gonna start now. Asha.
So hi everyone, I hope you're as excited as me with this knowledge session. I just want to quickly introduce myself. I have a background in accounting and I'm a certified public accountant at ACA. It's from England and Wales. And the certificate actually helps me with financial reporting and auditing in my career in a bank. And so I'm not giving, just a disclaimer, I'm not giving any professional advice today. It's just that I'm sharing, as Fatma said, some basic knowledge about how to understand money and gain financial literacy, and also to start your journey with financial independence and freedom. Yes. So
Right. Thank you, Awash, for this introduction. We are going to start with the first question. What is financial literacy, and how can one start without any previous background in finance or investments or anything?
So financial literacy, in my opinion, is just having the knowledge to manage and understand money and enable you to make informed decisions, and let's say investing and starting your business. And you can definitely you start without any prior background by joining this session, having the right keywords and understanding and language of money. Or you can also read books on money. You can approach a professional advisor and gain some information that he can help you with your money journey.
Okay. And also, I wanted to ask you, like, for example, we were all educated in school and then we went to university. Some of us did their masters. Why is it still, as you know, as individuals, we have not managed to, I don't know, I can speak from my own self and my own experience. I studied finance, I have background in investments, but I still don't see myself as someone who has been managing my budget well. So Awash, where do you think the problem is here?
I feel like some people just get overwhelmed with the idea of managing their money, or it's like you feel you don't, because sometimes in university they talk about the business side of it, but they never talk about the personal financing. So when you studied finance, you studied from the perspective of a company, but not from a perspective of an individual, where what are your financial goals, how can you start budgeting for yourself, how you can apply it in your own life. It also comes with awareness. We don't have this awareness that there is a need for you to start thinking of that. And because we're, as I said in the beginning, we're just overwhelmed by all the lingos and the words and phrases. So people need to understand and have the basic information just to start. I feel like this will give you the basic knowledge on where to start. So we can move ahead with financial goals.
Yes, we can.
like the most important thing in your financial journey is to set a purpose for your money. So without any purpose, then you're just going, there's not going to be any value for the money that you are spending, because money essentially is just a mean to an end. If you don't have an end, you're just going to be spending this without any without any purpose, basically. So some people want an early retirement, and some people want to start a business. Some people want to own a home. It can be short-term goal, financial goal, or it can be a long-term goal. It can be as simple as a small goal, like for example, I want to save, let's say, 100 dirhams daily. How can I do that? I want to, for example, I don't want to spend this much money on, I don't want to spend, let's say, more than 5,000 dirhams or 6,000 dirhams in this month. How can I do that? You just need to set a goal for it. And once you have a goal, the picture is going to be more clearer. You're going to have purpose for your money, and every dirham you're going to be spending is going to have meaning and value. So you have to sit with yourself, put down your goals, short-term goals for, like, let's say the month, long-term goals in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Where do you want to be, or what do you want to own? And yes, like, you can share with us also your financial goals, or you can ask any questions as we are speaking.
Yeah, I also wanted to tell everyone that, guys, please feel free to share your questions and or like experiences with us in the chat. And if you want to participate in this conversation, I can unmute you and you can share with us your personal experience. On this, on financial goals, I'm going to share my own experience. Like, for this year, my goal is to be debt-free. So as my own personal self, I graduated from university, and alhamdulillah, we're in the UAE. We're blessed to have free education when it comes to university in a public university. So I graduated without any loan or debt or any of that. And then I did not even buy a car. So I did not have any debt when I was working. However, I fell into the trap of credit cards. So it turned out I was spending more than I was earning. And this year, my goal is to finish the payments for my credit cards and, close them, basically. Because I learned that from my own experience, I kept ignoring this, I kept saying, oh, my salary is going to come and then I'm going to pay it. And then it does come, I pay some of it and then some remains. And then I just kept it on the side. And then when COVID-19 happened and I was thinking, I'm like, what if something happens with like the place I work and I don't work there anymore? What is going to happen with me then? So I realized that I was taking a risk. I'm taking, any one of us is taking a risk when they choose to work for someone else. When you work for someone else, you are taking a risk because that company could, for example, go bankrupt, or that employer could find someone else more suitable for the job. I'm not saying this happens to everyone, but it does happen. So we are all taking risks. And if we don't have some other income stream, then we are putting ourselves in a very difficult position. So one of my other financial goals for this year is to create other income streams, cash flows. Yeah.
So yes, you said you fell in the trap of credit cards. I feel like everyone had this kind of experience in their life, because you're just like, okay, I can have a credit card, I can spend this much. But you need to understand that credit cards are only there to help you with like big spending, spending decisions. Let's say you want to go on a vacation, you don't want the risk of like paying with your debit card and like blocking your money from your debit card, so you use a credit card. But yes, we all need that sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So basically, what I learned from credit cards is it's a way for us to use it more safely, like for example on the internet, or for example, as you said, when you are traveling.
Exactly.
when for example, I used it for every purchase, by the way, and I forgot my debit card. I thought in my mind that, oh, I had enough money from my salary to cover those expenses. Nope, turned out that was just an illusion.
The trap of like getting Skywards miles or getting like
Yeah,
hotel
yeah,
rewards.
but then I realized that I wasn't doing a lot with my miles. So anyways, my goal, inshallah, I'm gonna like finalize my credit cards stuff, and alhamdulillah, I'm almost there. So I think in 1 month it's gonna be done. So yay. I started in January, by the way. I just put that goal in January. And as you mentioned earlier, if you don't have a goal for your budget, if you don't have a goal for your money, you don't know where it's gonna go. It's gonna lose its value, because we are the ones who give money value. It's just a paper in the end of the day. And again, it's also an illusion, basically, that we live with. So as you said, Awash, yani, without having financial goals, it just like goes away. Don't know where it goes.
So I want you all to have that like in your head, that you need to make a goal for yourself, put purpose for your money, and then moving on to the next point. So after you set your goal, you need to make a plan. How can I achieve my goal? And this is where budgeting comes in. I'm sure that was your second step. Okay, I want to be debt free. How can I do that with my current situation? So with budgeting, you need to divide your income into 3 buckets. So what are your needs, what are your wants, and what are how much you want to like save from that. So I gave you like a rough estimate of the percentages that goes in each bucket. So for needs, for example, 50% of your income should go to needs, 20% of your income should go to savings, and 30% of your income should go to wants. You can play with those numbers if you want to save more, and if you want to, for example, to spend less on your wants. So what are those things though? So needs are like things that are fixed, let's say, or things that you cannot function without. So let's say you're paying your utility bills, you're paying your petrol, you're paying rent if you're living alone. Or for example, since you're paying your debt, that's a need for you. You need to pay it. You need to have it as a priority. So how can you start budgeting? So
Again, as you said, you look at your monthly expenses, and
yes.
I believe that also like every month is different.
Mm,
يعني what I have as a plan for January is going to be different than February, because
exactly.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to be buying, for example, okay, petrol is a need, as you mentioned, food, if you're renting,
Yeah.
um, other things, other luxuries, such as buying outfits. I'm not going to be buying outfits every month, but I'm
Uh,
going to, yeah.
yeah, that's a one. So basically, how can you start budgeting? My personal experience is I've understood my spending habits. I've looked at where is my money going to. I looked at my bank statement. I looked at, okay, I spent this much on, let's say, beauty products. I spent this much on abayas. I spent this much on clothes, or this is where my money is going to. Sometimes we end up spending a lot on one category and not having enough for, let's say, the essentials. Let's say your best friend's birthday is coming up. Okay, I don't have enough to get her a gift. You're surprised. Okay, I didn't plan for this. So you need to allocate for everything. So now that you understood your spending habits, you looked at your bank statement, you make a category for everything. You allocate your income for everything, whether you're going to spend it in the month or not, but it needs to be allocated. So this is just an example that I made on Excel. On the expenses side, you can see the categories. There is food, gifts, health, gym, transportation, night out. It can be also cinema, debt in your case, whatever you can think about, vacation, handbag, let's say anything that you want to spend on or you always spend on, put it in that column. And make also like an emergency or miscellaneous like category, and then allocate your income in each category, and and see how come the next month and your spending, and see how much you actually spent on each category. We always want to be under budget and not over budget. You need to be like, that's like the key or the challenge, always be under budget and not over budget. With budgeting, you always, it's a things that is flexible. Yeah, some apps are really like, someone is saying there's a nice app called Masarif. I insert everything I spend daily and it shows categories I spent on the most. So yeah, that's like that's a good app. I personally use Spendy. It's linked with your bank account, so Emirates NBD or Citibank, and it automatically sees where it automatically categorizes where you're spending a lot on, and it makes a chart of it, and it tells you also like where you're spending, how much you're spending, and all.
So what you're saying is that there's no excuse for me not to know where my money is going.
Yeah, there are apps, tools.
Yeah, not only apps, and if I don't sit down with myself and look at my expenses, where is this going? Then I wouldn't be able to know, okay, next month, how am I gonna be working with this salary, for example, if I only get my income from the salary. Another thing I would say also, as a society, we don't really talk about these things, really, because for some reason, we shy away from talking about money or budgeting or financial aspects, basically.
You need to have like an open conversation also with your friends and all. Like, you need to say, for example, oh, I'm trying to save this month. I cannot go out 5 times a week. I can go out like once a week. Or like, oh, guys, I'm trying to save. I don't want to go out to, let's say, expensive restaurants. How about we eat at this place? Or how about we meet at home and watch a movie? So it always needs to be an open conversation. There is no shame about it. People, I feel like they're mature enough to understand. And if they're not mature enough, then you don't have the right
Group.
Yeah. So also like, I want to mention, I heard, like, I'm not sure, but Benjamin Franklin sets a time every day to look at his spending. So how much he spent, how much money. So it's something that you do on the daily. It's something that is not like forgotten, and you're just surprised when it comes, when you end of the month and you don't have, or like it's in the middle of the month and you spent all your income. Oh, where did it go? No, you need to check that daily.
Yeah, to check that.
Some person, wait, let me see. Iman is saying that another tip is to spend from cash you have in a wallet instead of using card, because it's tangible, you see it, and you know how much you have. And the card, usually we fall into the trap because it's not something you see, so you're always overspending.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, again, it goes back to what we believe in our subconscious mind. So again, I remember, like, when I was in university, my dad gave me a very an amount every month, and that amount was very small compared to what I earned afterwards. And for some reason, I always saved with that amount. And then when I started working, I got, like, I think maybe times 20 that amount. And then all these, the salary used to go somewhere else. And I was thinking, like, what is happening here? And then I realized I actually had a problem with that before. So my problem was mismanagement. And now, alhamdulillah, I learned ways to work on it and change it and build financial goals.
That's great. I feel like change comes with awareness. Now you're aware of it, you need to then change comes. So yeah, we all need to be like reminded of this, because we can easily forget it and like fall into a trap of overspending and not being prepared or on top of our money. The tip is to be in control of your money and not like your money is controlling you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that comes with like daily checking, as I said, daily check-ins into your budget, open conversation with your friends, and having that community where everyone is supporting one another and not like shaming one another.
Yeah.
So this example that I have, just to remind everyone, is just like a basic example that I did on Excel. So you can easily get a template and fill in these stuff to help you, to give you like a picture of your budget. So moving on, here comes, I just want to share with you some basic information about investments, financial statement, and books and tools. So I think this is like where everyone is interested in. What are the options for me to invest? I feel personally, number one priority is yourself. So currently in your job, how can you differentiate yourself? By getting skills, certification, MBA, in order to be promoted and like increase your salary income. So that should go as number one.
I also
And
want to add, Asha, it's basically your mind is your best investment. What you invest in acquiring knowledge and, for example, taking different courses to understand the recent trends, and not only that, to understand how you can help yourself. So yourself, as you said, your mind is the best investment, your knowledge and what you want to do in life, basically. When you realize these things, and these things change as we grow up with our experience. So knowing these things about yourself, being more connected with your, there is a financial genius in each and every one of us. So when you get connected to that part of you, then you start to realize, okay, this is how I can work with myself.
And definitely, you don't need to like gain skills like that are professional skills. You can like roll yourself into different courses, programs, just like know yourself. And it can be an opportunity for you to capitalize, like to get money out of it. So
Yeah.
that goes into, let's say, like freelancing. So out of that skill, you can freelance. You can make logos for money, or you can work in and you can write, for example, reviews for money. You can teach people like a language that you have learned.
That I would say also, if someone doesn't have anything to sell, they can help someone else who has a business. Like, for example, I'm sure some of you knows someone that is selling something. When you collaborate with others and you help them sell their products, then you become a partner. That's another way. Not everyone can start a business and not everyone has something to sell, but I'm sure you know someone else who is selling something. So this is another way of gaining another income stream.
But it's always also keeping in mind that, okay, I'm looking for opportunities for me to increase my income and get different income streams, as you said.
Yeah.
In the beginning. So another option is to a savings account with an interest. So let's say you open a deposit in a bank and you get interest in that. It can be Islamic savings account or a non-Islamic savings account. And there are like some really lucrative or like attractive interest rates out there. So your money does not need to sit in your wallet. You can save it and get interest on that. Another option is the stock market. You want to invest in stocks. So what are stocks? Stocks is like is an owner. It's a ownership in a company. So the company gives you a share in their. Company gives you a share in their company, basically. So, and it's traded in the market. So you buy low and you sell high. That's, you're profiting out of your sale. Or you can buy those shares and hold it for a long time and sell it at a high price. There are like options for you to get into the stock market through brokerage firms that are licensed in DFM, Dubai Financial Market, or you can also get into the international stock market through international platforms online. If you don't want to do that personally, you can approach your bank, tell them that you want to invest your money in the stock market, and they will do it for you on their own. So they manage those investments for you and get like a fee out of it. Also, another investment is real estate. You can get property, and we all know that like property appreciates in value. It's never wrong to buy property. And
yeah, on that I wanted to add something as well. So here we have Brenda who is saying that to buy stuff during sale time. Yes, it's a great time to buy things. I mean, that's when I do my most of my buying. But then I also realized that with a consumer mindset, it's a different market. However, when I moved into producing, like I want to become a producer of things, it's a different mindset as well. Because again, Asha, I was talking to you about this as well. So there's this like the story about the founder of McDonald's. When he sat with MBA students and he asked them, what business do you think I'm in? And they were laughing and they were looking at him and they're telling him, oh, you're in the fast food business, you sell hamburgers. And then he said, no, I'm not in that business. And then they looked at him very oddly and he said, I'm in real estate. McDonald's has one of the biggest real estate assets, and they have real estate globally. Not only that, they have the best locations in each big city around the world. So McDonald's is not just a fast food sales, or like a shop or a burger place. It has real estate. It owns the place it operates from. So that's another one.
Basically, what you said, they picked the right location. So it's always about the location, whether it has a view or it's in the middle of the city, because it will never lose its value this way. It might lose some value over time if, let's say, things are going bad in the economy as whole, but it will always pick up. It's not something that is, it's a bad investment with real estate.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Real estate is one of the best assets to invest in. And again, as you said, Yani, at the end of the day, it's your asset column that you want to increase.
Exactly.
Also, I wanted to add, let's talk also about liabilities. I think that's coming up next.
About?
Liabilities.
Liabilities, yes. But first, I want to tap into intellectual property.
Yeah, please go ahead.
That's the last on the left. So intellectual property can be like,
One second. I think someone opened up their mic. Okay, yeah, now you can go.
Intellectual properties are something that is not tangible. So for example, if you write a book and you get royalties from this book, or let's say you started a blog or writing reviews and you're getting ads on your blog, or for example, you want to be a social influencer and you're like really famous on Instagram and you start charging people for sponsorship, for ads, for reviews. So that's all. That all goes under the intellectual property. It's a very attractive option, and that is I mean, yeah, it's very easily like attainable and done, and anyone can get into that. Not necessarily get money easily, but you always have to put in the hard work, definitely. Next on the slides is I want everyone to have a background information on financial statements. So this is where the accountant go to. You don't necessarily need to understand every part, but you just need like some headers. So when like your accountant or when you're preparing a financial statement for your business, you understand what goes where. So on the left side is your balance sheet. So what goes in the balance sheet? The assets and liabilities and equity. So what are your assets? Assets are things that you own, like properties, as we mentioned, shares, cash. In terms in the perspective of business, then your inventory, the products that you are selling. And as I said, also like intellectual property, which is the intangible assets. You have some patents, you have some copyrights. It all goes there. So as you see in the financial statement, there is current and long-term. Current are the things that you are anticipating to use in the next 12 months, and long-term are things that are staying more than 12 months. Under that is the liabilities. Here is what you owe to the suppliers or to the bank. So the bank gave you some money to start your business, it goes there.
To add, Asha, sorry to cut you in. For liabilities as an individual, your car is a liability. It's not an asset. It depreciates as soon as you take it from the dealership. It depreciates, and not only that, you are paying for it. So
Yeah.
anything that you pay for, it takes money from you, that's your liability. Anything that gives you money is your asset. So all of you should,
Yeah.
you all should focus on increasing your asset column, because it is where the cash flow is coming from. You can cover up your liabilities, and it can make more money basically. So there was also like, I was reading a book earlier this month, and he was saying that, for example, when it's Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's an amazing book. So he was saying that, unfortunately, like when we ask someone what's an asset, and I tried this, even at work, I was asking people, what's an asset? A lot of them said, my house. And then I told them that your house is not your asset now. Until you sell it, then it becomes like an asset thing. But right now, your home is a liability, because you're paying a lot of things while you're sitting at home. You're
Not to
paying
confuse people, it's from an individual perspective, and not from like the business side.
Yeah. If your business owns property, then that's good, because those are your assets. But if you as an individual, you pay, for example, for you have a home, you live in this house, you pay a lot on it, because you pay for renovation. Not only that, you buy the groceries, you buy a lot of things for your home. And these are all liabilities. So be aware, not everything we learned from university or from working for a company is applied necessarily to us as individuals. It's a different game. It's a different, it's a whole different thing. So you got to understand what is taking money from me, that's your liability. What is giving me money, assets. And that's like that's the simplest way I can explain it.
Yeah, but like the purpose of this slide is just to give you a background information on how to understand the financial statement given to you by, let's say, your accountant, or if you were starting a business, then you need to prepare a financial statement. So that's just like a different side of it. On the right side, we have the income statement. So the income statement, we always start with number one, most important, is your sales. How much you are making and how much it is costing you to make that. That's your cost of goods sales. And then you have your gross profit. Moving on, you have your operating expenses, which is your business costs. So like on ads, selling, and all of that. And then comes your non-operating expenses, which is, for example, things that you are, that are costing you. So the interest on your loan, you're paying interest, that's an expense. Or let's say you made a loss on something that is non-related. So in this case, there's a loss from a lawsuit or something. So that's just like a brief explanation on financial statements. Moving on. So sometimes you need to like read into the financial statements if you want to invest in a company, just to have an understanding of that company. Moving on, I also want to give you some basics on ratios. So why is ratios important? One second. So ratios are important to see which company you want to invest in. So that's just like an indicator or one deciding factor. It's a quantitative deciding factor. So you still need to like read into the company, how well it's doing, and decide where do you want to invest in. But ratios are just like some numbers, indicators for you to look at. There are three, I've just like picked three categories of ratios, which is a price ratio, profitability ratio, and liquidity ratio. So just briefly, price ratio, what goes into that? So there is the PE ratio, which is your share price over your earnings per share, which is how much the investor is willing to pay for a share for one dirham of earnings. So if it's a high PE ratio, then it's telling us that the investors are willing to pay a lot for one dirham. They're confident in the growth of the company. And if it's a low PE ratio, then that just means that they're not as confident. It could be a risky company, but it is a good value of an investment because it's a low price one. Moving on, what is the dividend yield? So what is a dividend? So if you're investing in a company, you're buying shares in that company, the company can have the decision to give you a portion of its income. So a portion of its income is called a dividend. A dividend yield is how much dividend, a percentage of dividend is given to you in comparison to the share price. So we always want to look at a high dividend yield. And dividend payout ratio is sometimes when you're looking at a company and you're interested only in the dividend that the company gives, then you look at the dividend payout ratio. How much as a percentage the company is giving from its income as a dividend. So let's say I want to invest in a bank. The IB is giving, or like let's say Bank A is giving 40% dividend payout ratio, and Bank B is giving 20% payout ratio. Of course, I'm going to go with Bank A if it's a higher dividend payout ratio, if I'm only interested in dividend. Some people, some companies do not give dividends, but their share price is very like liquid, so you can easily buy into it. It increases in value and you sell it, so you still get your profit from that. Moving on to profitability. So here comes your profit margin. So it's your profit in comparison with your sales. So with ratios, you always need to compare it with something. So you compare the ratio of company A with company B and see which is better, or you compare ratios of different period. So it's never from like a single perspective.
And for example, also you can, for example, if you're looking at company A, you compare their profit margin this year compared to the same period, for example, last year. If you want to compare it for the first 6 months of the year 2018, compare it with the year also 2019 and 2017, so that you understand what is happening. Is it going up? Is it going down? And always look like at a 10-year period. 10-year periods they're a good indicator. You can always, get into these things by learning more about them from different websites. And also, it's a very good indicator for you to really understand, okay, let me look at what the analysts are saying. The analysts are not always right. You can also become your own analyst.
Biased.
Yes, exactly.
Or they want to like target the market. They want to sway the market, not necessarily give disclose the right information.
And also, because from our recent history, we all know that no one really anticipated Brexit happening. No one really anticipated Trump becoming the president of the USA. These major incidents actually affected a lot of markets, a lot of economies. So when everyone during that time, they were saying that no, there's like high likely chance for example, Brexit not to happen and for Hillary to win. So when those things didn't happen, then a lot of people started questioning the analysts. See, analysts are always going to be reviewing and doing their own work, but it doesn't mean that it's 100% sure. Even, for example, the different percentages that they attribute to different events, it does not mean that this is what is going to happen. You got to become your own analyst, and again, invest in your own knowledge when it comes to these things. And ask other people. You know what also helped me with understanding these things? To sit with people who I see are very successful. and to really listen into what they are doing, ask them questions. And if you cannot find them in your environment, then look for them, look for successful people who wrote books. Listen to what they are saying. Look at interviews of successful people when it comes to, for example, investments and all these things. Look at their mentality, and you can learn from there. There is no excuse whatsoever if even if you don't have them within your reach, you have them online. So that's another thing to learn from.
Like it's all uh, they all have like one thing in common, which is hard work. They always put the effort, they have the awareness, they have the intention that they want to like increase their wealth, or
Yeah,
not necessarily increase their wealth. Yeah, just
I also found out that some of them are not even doing hard work because they've done the hard work. They finished from the hard work.
at one point in their life, they definitely put in some work.
Yes, and then they started to
Whether
relax.
research or just like educating themselves on the topic, or as you said, speaking to the right people. That's work. You,
Exactly.
yeah. So moving on. So the next slide is basically what you said. So I'm just like out of my opinion, what are the recommended books for you to start with? Fatma mentioned this book earlier, which is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Richard Kiyosaki. It's a very excellent starter book for personal finance. I feel like it was successful, very successful, because it gave you that a start to understand your personal finance, and not that wasn't given by school or by university. So it touches the subject on budgeting, touches the subject on what are the different things that you can invest in, and also having that mindset and understanding of what are my assets, what are the things that I'm spending on, or the things that I think are assets are actually liabilities and they're costing me extra expenses.
Exactly. He talks
Mm,
a lot about the mindset. I mean,
yeah.
he actually was very fundamental in me understanding my own personal situation. So this book, I mean, it's a great book, and if they can start teaching it to children in schools, it would be a great world for them.
Another like a very, very extremely basic, easy read is Black Book. A lot of the information over there is not new, but it could be new for someone who has no background information on anything. It's a very easy read, like some quick information on that. I personally like to watch videos on those topics. So my favorite is the Dave Ramsey show. It's very entertaining.
Yeah,
He
mine too.
Yeah, he has a radio show where he talks about budgeting and money, and people call him and like give him those problems, and he's like, and he gives some tips on that in order to be financially free.
I
He
really
he
like the quote,
he
by
hates
the
credit cards. He hates loans and credit cards. He's
way.
anti that. I feel like some kind of like loan is a very good start for you to help you personally, but if you don't know how to like manage that, then you can easily fall into the trap of loans, and that if you're
You know,
not.
Aisha, I wanted to add about loans. The thing is, we don't understand this. When you have a loan, you're not only working for your workplace, you work for your workplace and you work for the bank. So you're working for two employers basically.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, look at your situation. If you have a loan, start making a plan to pay it off as soon as possible. And if you don't have a loan, generate enough cash flow so that you don't have to go and get a loan. You just need, for example, if someone wants to buy a car, get enough cash for you to buy that car. How can I get this car, for example, if it's so expensive and my salary is X? Look for other income streams. Start looking at other ways of how can I afford this. It's not that, for example, one key part about this book where he says he asks his dad a lot of things. So Robert Kiyosaki asks his poor dad, I want to get this thing. And then his poor dad says, we can't afford that. So that kept repeating in his house. But then when he goes to Rich Dad always tells him, think about how you can afford this. Just ask yourself this question: how can I afford that thing? Yani it's basically for you to start thinking about possibilities, other possibilities, instead of building this block When you say I cannot afford this, then you are putting yourself in a very in like a block. But when you say how can I afford that, then you can start thinking about ways for affording the thing that you want.
Definitely. That should be your first priority. But sometimes you need that loan for, let's say, you want to move out, you want to buy a house, and you cannot wait, for example, 6 years or 7 years so you can save up for that. That's where the option of a loan shows up. Or let's say, yeah, so just like at times it's very necessary for you to take a loan,
But
and
if
you can't
that, you're taking a risk.
or
With,
business. Yeah,
yeah.
you want to start a business, then, and you need it, you need to start your business now. You cannot afford to wait any time longer. Your business idea is like very like new, and you feel like people are going to like, maybe in 5 years it's not going to be like of any use, so you want to take your loan now. So it's definitely an option. It's okay to have it, but you just need to know how to deal with it. It's yeah, but that, as you said, the mindset should be no loan first, like no debt.
Yeah.
I think yeah.
I also believe that it's a trap. Yani, when I read a lot of books that are made for the Western world, they talk a lot about student loans, and they talk about a lot of taxes and a lot of things that are not necessarily relevant to us. However, these things make me really understand is that okay, there are many ways to fund yourself. Look for investors. There are angel investors if you want to start a business. And also, when you start a business, you can start small, start selling. Your sales are going to grow, and then you wouldn't need, for example, that loan anymore. There are so many creative ways online where you can start your business. You don't even pay much, and also you understand how to grow it more before going for the option to get a loan.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Iman is saying when taking a bank loan, it's always important to have a payment plan. They actually do a payment plan for you, and they explain like in details how much you're going to pay out of your income or so. So it's not like without a payment plan. It's definitely a payment plan. Just like another tools I recommend, so some websites like Bloomberg, you can go on, and they have those ratios I've explained, so you can compare different companies. Investing.com does the same thing, and like they have articles on companies that you're interested in if you want to invest in those. And yep, another like friendly YouTube channel is The Financial Diet. They have videos on how to videos on everything about money. Basically, it's worth checking out. I guess we reached the end of the
Yes. I want to thank you so much for explaining a lot of things. And I have a question, I have a challenge for everyone. If you guys can write down in the chat, what is your financial goal for this year? And it doesn't have to be true. Yani it could be a made up financial goal. I just want to see, like, when it comes to the basic understanding of these things, what do people really think? So if you guys can start writing, like, what is your financial goal, or what is the financial goal that you want to make up, for example? For myself, Asha, as I mentioned to you, I want to retire early. I don't want to keep working until retirement, and I'm not going to depend on retirement to fund my life, basically. So my plan is to start generate income from different assets, from different ways. First of all, I'm gonna close the credit cards. That's the number one thing. And then after that, I'm gonna, inshallah, start, different income streams. So I have Mariam here who wrote to have a second income. That's great, Mariam. So by when? When you add by when, it gives you a very good indicator that, okay, by December 2020, I'm gonna have a second income. Afra is saying add two more sources for my kids. Add two more sources of income in 2020. That's a great goal because you're already specifying the year in 2020. When exactly? If you say by the end of 2020. And also we have Brenda is saying, save some money for my kids' education. When are you going to start saving? So having the when is essential. How much do you want to save? Like a percentage, for example, if you can put a percentage, I want to save X percentage for my kids' education, so that by the time they go to school or they go to university, the fund would have that much money. So, or even more than that. I also would recommend not putting the amount exactly, because that limits it. If you keep it open, you don't know where the income is going to be coming in to fill up that space. So not limiting yourself by a number, that's again, it's a good thing.
And also, when you say I have second income, you need to specify like through what also, like for your own self, you need to specify, okay, I'm good at this thing. I feel like I have a knack for this. So I'm going to get a second income by, let's say, writing reviews online or something like that.
Exactly. And also we have here Mansoura, who's saying she wants to have a second income than her salary and have at least 50,000 savings by the end of 2020. So that's a great financial goal. And now you got to start planning with budgeting, and also start planning on where is the second, what's the possibility of the second income? Where can it come from? What am I good at? Or what do my friends tell me to do? For example, what do your friends come to you for? You can use these things. These are some questions that can help you realize what your second income could come from. Iman is also saying that her goal this year is to have another income stream, but I didn't plan how yet. It's okay not planning the how from now, but at least knowing that this is another goal I want. So you guys, what you are doing right now is you're setting intentions for yourself. And I'm a huge believer in that everything is done through intentions. So what I intend for my own self,
write it down. It works.
Ahead, then happens. I can give you a quick example about myself. Last year, during the summer, I attended a course, and in that course, they were asking us about like write down your goals and things like that. So my goal last year was to start my website by December 2019. And then I just forgot about it after. And then I by September, so that was I think in the summer, and then in September, I met a web developer. And for some reason, it wasn't working. For some reason, I kept delaying it. And I forgot about the goal that I had in December. And then by October, November, we were going back and forth. And then in December, within the first 2 weeks, we sorted it all and it went live. So then I was thinking to myself, like, how come I didn't do this before? How come, like, okay, this web developer, I met him in September. Why didn't this happen in September? I remembered because in the summer, I put my goal by December 2020, I will have my goal, I will have my website live. So I had put that you know, that date, I put that intention out, and for some reason it wasn't working out until that date came. So again, be very conscious of this part, because what you say, what you think happens. And whether you plan for it or you think about the why and the how and all these things, at the end of the day, it's your intention about your things, your life. Okay, yes, I want a second income. What can I start doing from today to understand what my second income could be like? What are examples of second incomes online? Actually, you said real estate, but what if I don't have the capital required to invest in real estate? I'm going to start saving. Not only that, like, is there any other way, for example, investing in Forex, foreign exchange? That's a risky business. But what if
not recommended for individuals?
They're not recommended for individuals?
Don't have the good foundation or grasp of the interchange of foreign exchange companies and what goes into that. So a lot of traders are like good at it, but as a personal investment, I would not recommend. And so when she says Forex, it's just basically trading currencies. Yes.
Yeah, for example, I would buy pounds and then sell them, and then I'll buy yen and then sell it or something. So the reason I mentioned this is because I'm thinking to myself, do I have enough capital to keep aside and to use it to play with these things? Because I know I could lose it all if I invest in, like, for example, as Asha said, it's a very risky place. But if I set aside, okay, like for example, I want to invest 5,000 dirhams in Forex in this month. And I want to see what happens with that. And I set this aside knowing that I might lose it all, or I might gain double or triple or whatever it is. So having, again, this awareness that not, not everything sold to me is going to be right for me. And if I go into it understanding all the other aspects, doing my own research, I am here saving myself a lot of trouble.
How much also you're willing to risk your money. So it depends on like how the risk appetite of an investor. I don't like to, for example, invest my money in risky situations. Or sometimes let's say another person wants those risky because they give off the most return or most profit from that. So
Yeah.
it depends also how risky you are. So do you want to risk that? Can you afford it? Yeah, you need to ask yourself these kind of
Yeah.
questions.
These are the most important questions, because I remember when I was an investment analyst, I used to pay, like, for example, the minimum amount I would put in a portfolio was 5 million US dollars. And when I did that, obviously, I used to check the investor's objectives and risk appetite. So if the objective of the investor is, for example, to have this long term, I'm going to be investing in assets that will only give them return in 5 to 7 years, for example. I'm just giving rough numbers. And if the investor is, he doesn't mind risk, he doesn't mind losing this value, I would put it in risky assets that can generate quick profits. That's another thing that we learned, that in finance, high risk, high return. And then not only that, I would also say that, for example, the reason I learned these things is because I saw how money can work for you. It's not me working for money, it's money working for me. How do I do that? It's a shift of mindset. A lot of people who are wealthy and who are rich, they don't even, some of them don't even know how much they have. By the way, I'm speaking about this because I've worked with them. And they don't even know when their next paycheck is coming in, because they don't, khalas, they reach to a point where they don't even have to think about these things. All these things are possible, and they're not limited to just the 1%. Forget all of those, the talks that we see online. These are just things to subjugate, for example, a group of people to believe in something. That is not the case when it comes to becoming wealthy and rich and all these things. This is the reason why I called this, this topic, Asha and I came up with this name, how your money makes more money. It's the money working. It's me thinking, investing, and then the money doing the work. صح, Asha?
I went back to the slide because you said like it all depends on how risky you want. So like savings, for example, saving account is like least risky. Yourself is not risky at all. So it's not even like it's not even a bad thing to think about yourself. It's always good. So yeah, like those options for you are like there are many options for you. There are risky options, there are not risky options. It just depends on what you're willing to, how much work you're willing to put, how much you can afford to lose. And like it all depends also on your, like as we said, the budget plan, how much your savings, how much what are the things that you want to put your money to. Yeah.
Exactly. And knowing the risk, managing the risk. Life is all about you understanding what you are doing and you managing what your reaction to things. Now, the markets are up and down. Who knows what happens? But you know what? You guys, I'm sure you know Warren Buffett. He's one of the world's billionaires. A lot of papers are coming out recently in articles and saying that, has Warren Buffett lost his mojo, his magic, for example? And if you look at the record of his company, Berkshire, I think something like that, Berkshire, I don't know what's the name of the company. Anyways, it's been operating, I think, for 80 years or 50 years. I'm not sure about the number, but their record of success is really high. And whether or not like how it looks doesn't look so good right now, that does not mean that it's a bad company. The reason I'm saying this is because you will see a lot of articles about a lot of people saying a lot of things. You got to choose who to invest in. What company do I want to invest in?
Yeah, definitely. The qualitative factors play into that. So you want to invest in companies that have growth. So for example, when Facebook first got into the stock market, like a lot of people were saying, okay, what kind of growth will Facebook will have? It's just like a social network company. How are we getting return if we're investing in Facebook? It reached like, you know, it reached its most potential. So they only decided to like float in the market after they got so famous and all. But like Facebook proved them wrong. They bought Instagram. They started like doing those ad stuff. They started getting different streams of like profit, not necessarily from the social network site itself.
Exactly. So it's you got to do the research. You got to trust your gut and really sit with those people who you aspire to become like, or like listen to their YouTube channels or listen to their books, read their books, do whatever it is you want to do to help yourself out. Again, it's you doing the work right now so that later you can just sit and relax. No, right, I wanted to add something else. You don't even have to wait for later to sit and relax. You can also relax right now. Give that time to yourself. Give yourself enough time to relax, enjoy, learn, and go ahead.
Exactly. I think a homework for everyone is to like identify your financial goal, as we said, make a budget for yourself, like, and be as clear as you can, like with your financial goal. List down everything that you want, set a budget for it, and see where it goes. And think of the additional income you want. Think of like what differentiates me as Aisha, what differentiates me as Fatma, like what are the things I can do really good at, and like people will see my passion and will invest in me and will buy what I'm selling. So yeah, definitely consider that, but also forget like this high that you have, or this drive and passion that you have at the moment, and this awareness that you have. Always feed into it, always keep tabs into it, like daily check up on your financial. Have it as like something that you do every day. Don't like set it aside, but you can easily forget about that and fall into the trap of like routine and what you like.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's the trouble I fell in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, yani when you sit with yourself and really understand. Sometimes I use myself to experiment with things, but then it becomes like a funny story. So, and also learning for me. Right now, I have the luxury to make mistakes and learn from them because I'm at this age and I'm still learning.
By the way, we're very blessed. Yeah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. And not only that, think about.
Yeah, you have no excuse to not like save your money and like create wealth for yourself.
Exactly, and also be flexible. Again, the markets are different every time. You got to know what is trending. How can I, for example, gain an income while I'm sitting at home? We all know how we can do that. There are so many ways, and we all know a lot of influencers on Instagram becoming famous over like, I don't know, some things that they did. But that's their power, right? They grew that network and they have the right to charge for it. I think some of them charge like $100,000 for a post. And
Yeah,
yeah,
crazy amount, but it's understandable by the amount of followers they have and like how much they help those brands.
exactly. So there's a comment by Mansoura. Her brother is a banker and he told her a couple of days ago to open savings account in the same bank and transfer a small percentage of money to your savings. And you don't use the savings except for some projects or some which I have started doing. So it depends on your goal. Like if you want to have an account to save for your savings, or you want to use those savings for something else. So it all depends on your personal goal. And there are some, Asha, you mentioned saving accounts that can pay you interest.
Yeah, that's the saving account mechanism.
But
That's
what percentage of interest is it?
it's interchangeable, like 4%,
Okay,
3%. Yeah.
it's a
Here.
good number, but there are many other ways to generate even more.
Exactly. So for example, like you've been working for 4 years, let's say, and like you didn't save enough money for you. Like at the moment, the economy is doing it's not the best, but it's the best time to buy and invest because all the properties are going down, the shares are going down, people are like, but it's the best time to invest. And like if you've saved enough money, then you could have use that money now wisely. But
Exactly.
yeah, so savings is very important, but like I'm not with savings just for the sake of savings. You need to put a goal for your savings. Even your savings need to be categorized. Okay, where do I want to, like, why do I want to save? I want to save for, let's say, anything. You can be a vacation, it can be a business, it can be like start like a website, start something small, something big, it can be whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very good safety net. For example, if I want to save just to have a safety net, that's another goal as well. But if I'm saving to buy something, then that's another thing. I'm saving to buy a car. That's not my savings, It becomes
Not that, but it's like it could be a savings if it's a long term, because a lot of people like, okay, I put a savings as a safety net, but I end up using up all my savings on a purchase, let's say. So that's not right. You need to like plan ahead and allocate everything in your income, everything that you can think of. Definitely put like a miscellaneous category, but plan everything. So in order to be in control and not get surprised or like, oh, something took a toll on my balance that I didn't prepare for. So yeah, you definitely need to be categorized, in my opinion. Even your savings can be categorized and put a bucket for like others.
exactly. So categorize your savings. Okay, so we reached to the end, and I think we also went over time, but it was great fun to talk to you guys about this topic. It's a fun topic.
Share with us on the write them down like quickly here, or like share with us on email, for example. Maybe we can write my
Yeah, sure. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to share it with me. I'll share them with Asha as well. And also, we're both going to write a summary about this call to share with everyone. And also, not only that, we have recorded this session. So if you guys want to share it with anyone else, I'm going to send you the recording as well. You can send it to me. So thank you guys. This has been awesome. I know it's a bit, it's a topic that not everyone talks about. So this is the reason we are talking about it right now. And thank you guys for everything. Asha, I'm so much grateful to have you today. I really appreciate everything. Thank you so much for everything you have shared with us, your experience. And I'm grateful.
Papa, you make it very easy to talk.
Thank you so much, Asha. It's basically, you don't know what you don't know about yourself unless you are put in the spot, and then you would know. So yeah, صدق thank you guys. I know it was like a heavy topic, but it's a heavy, nice, light topic right now. So thank you so much, Brenda, for joining. Really appreciate it. And we're gonna have more sessions coming up every Saturday. I still don't know what's the topic for next Saturday, but it might be a surprise. I don't know. But thank you guys.
Thank you.
Right. Goodbye. Have a lovely day, everyone.